Hey guys, this is Mel, and I am back to talk about the 100, episode 407, titled Gimme Shelter, which premiered Wednesday, March 22nd, 2017 on the CW, as well as episode 408, titled God Complex, which premiered Wednesday, March 29th, 2017 on the CW. So that's about a week and 2 weeks from now, as I'm recording on April the 5th. Yeah, it's been a while, but when 407 aired, that week was huge. Huge hours for me at work. It's pretty much double what I usually got. So then the following week was me trying to catch up on everything I was meant to do the previous week. And then now it's just me catching up on everything. So I kind of figured, why not combine the two together? And we're on hiatus right now, so why not? So with that said, huge spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the 2 episodes already, go do that first. Then come back to see what I say about the episodes. Otherwise, my other video reminders are up on screen right now. And let's start the 20-minute clock this time. I'm going to try to do 10 minutes for each episode, but let's begin with what happened in 407. So timeline-wise, it's pretty much hours after 406 happened, which left off with Octavia leaving, and we're kind of getting Bellamy traveling back to Arcadia after getting to the cargo drop, I guess you could say. Episode reminder, though, for 407 is the fact that the conditions have now worsened because the Black Rain has arrived, which leads us to our episode objective, which is to find shelter. So, storyline breakdown for episode 407, again, is split in by location. So either we get the woods inside Arcadia or on Becca's island to begin with. So in regards to the woods, we really get to see Octavia and Ilion dealing with having to find shelter in a cave while the Black Rain falls. Pretty much the whole episode deals with the falling of the Black Rain, which kind of is forcing people to stay inside as it's deadly on contact, as we find out in this episode. So with Octavia and Ilion, they get a deeper understanding between each other. Their relationship develops in certain ways. Not sure if it means anything or if it's just a spur of the moment type thing between the two of them. But at the end for these two, we see Octavia offering to take Ilion back to his home. So there's that. Now with Arcadia, though, we not only see the Arcadians find shelter in what remains of Alpha Station, but we see a few of them suffer from getting into contact with the Black Rain. We see what the protocol is for such things. Apparently, they had to strip down and decontaminate themselves from the looks of it. But anyways, for this one, we see Bellamy trying to rescue 2 stray Arcadians who didn't happen to get to the Alpha Station in time, so they're stuck in the Black Rain. Unfortunately, Bellamy couldn't, despite his attempts, and he has to learn the hard way that he can't save everybody once again. Sideline to that, though, we also see Harper dealing with the death of a man she had left stranded in the stampede to get to Alpha Station when the alarms first went off. He actually tore her Raider gear, and she pushed him off to save herself, and she kind of deals with the guilt that leaps with her because of the fact by doing that he got trampled on and stuff. So anyways, there's that. Now on Becca's island, though, we see Clarke finally reuniting with I guess you could say, the cure team, as Clarke finds out from Abby about this unspeakable test where they would use the bone marrow from Luna to create their own nightblood, since going into space is not an option anymore. So as Clarke gets settled, though, she, along with Amori and Murphy, who are holed up in, I guess it looks like a mansion on the island, they managed to capture an intruder inside of their little paradise. And it turns out that the intruder is someone from Amori's past, her tormentor. And because of this, they use the intruder as their test subject with the Abby's bone marrow solution idea. So there's that. Last moments of the episode show the bone marrow treatment being injected into the intruder, and they're just about to test whether or not it's going to hold against the radiation. But in this moment, we see Murphy discovering that the con that Amori has played on everyone by making the intruder the guinea pig and not her for the treatment, since the intruder is not really Emori's tormentor. So there is that. Also, we see Rowan present for this moment in the episode. He wasn't featured in any other part of the episode, so there's that. Tidbits for this episode is that we see Raven and Luna, or we don't see them. They are off screen, but Raven and Luna are mentioned as to be resting, not only from the repeated testing from Luna, but also from Raven recovering from her seizure episode. So there's that. Also, we find out that the people on Becca's Island didn't experience the black rain, but Abby does get a radio call from Kane telling her that it has arrived and it's worse than they thought. So there's that. Now, ship status, though, there's only mainly two, I guess you could say, is the fact that Octavia and Ilion, not only do they save each other once again in this episode, we got Octavia saving Ilion from the black rain when it first starts, and then we got Ilion saving Octavia when she tries to walk into the rain. And it looks like she wanted to cause some harm to herself, from the looks of it. And then she ends up kissing him, and in order to feel things, and it just escalates from there for that. And also we get Murphy supporting Emori with her little con by not ratting her out. So there's that. Now, episode 408, timeline is pretty much, it's the day after the black rain has fallen, and we find out that 18 Arcadians were killed in the first round of the black rain, which again happened in the previous episode. Now, the episode reminder is the fact that the experimental treatment happening on Becca's Island, and it's whether they see whether or not it's going to work or not for them. And the objective for the episode was finding a way to survive against Prime Fire. It is set to hit in 10 days. Clarke makes a point stating that the death wave will hit in 10 days. So there's that. Now, storyline, again, is broken down by location in 3 different times: Island, Polis, and the woods. So when it comes to the island, Becca's Island, this is where we focus on the bone marrow treatment. The first time failed with the intruder. I think his name was, or his supposed name was Bayless, but Emori's lie is exposed when Rowan and Luna take note of what they observed of their test subject, realizing what clan he was from, and just dissecting Emori's lie to the point that Emori was to be next when it came to round 2 of an altered treatment test, but Clarke takes her place. But before Clarke could get into the radiation chamber, Abby destroys it. So they're kind of stuck with that. Although Clarke was injected with the bone marrow treatment that they had altered. So there's that. Storyline 2 dealt with Polis, and we see the search for the second Dawn bunker, which was meant for level 12. It was meant to be the actual saving grace, I guess you could say. So this starts off in Arcadia with Jaha wanting to find that second Dawn bunker, thinking that the one that they found in episode 403 was just a decoy, something that he knew he would do if he was put in that situation. So this, after hearing Nahila doing a prayer for the 18 fallen, and she uses "We will rise from the ashes," Jaha gets the idea that they need to see a Flamekeeper, which leads them to Polis to seek out Indra, so they could get to Gaia, her daughter. But we see Indra killing some Asgeda guards. She's definitely at war with them, considering the alliance is broken. But she does lead them to Gaia, and Gaia definitely leads them to where the door for the bunker is supposed to be, which is in the commander's temple, or the sacred temple, in the floor for the commander. And they find out that the medallion that Jaha found turned into the key that opened the door, and they actually got to go inside. So that's a little fun way to end the episode there for that. But third part of the episode had to deal with the woods, and that was Jasper running off to find some Joby nuts, and Bellamy following him for his safety, because Jasper just wouldn't listen to Bellamy's concerns. And then they come back to find a party back at Arcadia. But during this journey, Jasper tells Bellamy that they are living on borrowed time, so they better start enjoying life while they still can. Bellamy's a little reluctant about it, but he eventually does cave and take part in the party festivities. So last moment of the episodes, I did mention it though, it was where Jaha, Kane, and Monty get inside the level 12 second Dawn bunker underneath the sacred temple. So that little, we actually see a few equipment in, I guess, the entranceway, but it looks to be a lot more intact than the level 11 bunker that Jaha found with Bellamy and Clarke. So there's that. Tidbits for the episode show that there was a brief fight between Rowan and Luna when she tries to escape, but he does a chokehold on her so that they could forcibly take bone marrow from her, which makes Raven make the comparison of what they're doing being the exact same thing that Weather tried to do to them in season 2. So there's that. And actually, no Octavia was shown or mentioned in this episode. If anything, if she was mentioned, then it was briefly by Bellamy saying that he couldn't save her or he couldn't protect her, or there was references to her by Kane saying that you can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved type thing. So there's that. Shipper status, though, we get Murphy and Amori once again. They're protective of each other. When Amori's life is threatened by going into the radiation chamber to be a test subject, Murphy goes ballistic, making threats, and stating that if she's harmed, if she's killed, then, like, I will kill you type thing. And we also get his confessions of love to Amori in those last moments. We also see briefly a moment between Monty and Harper. Monty's determined to find a way to survive for the both of them, but Harper's kind of down on her luck, I guess you could say. She's very down on the fact that there may not be a way for them to survive. She's definitely grieving and being guilt tripped, I guess you could say, over the man who died during the Black Rain that had ripped her raider gear, and she kind of left behind. So she's kind of grieving over that and being guilty over that. So you kind of see a sorrowful goodbye between the two of them when they separate for their separate missions, I guess you could say. And then also friendship, I guess you could say, for Kane and Indra. The friendship we see is Kane excited to see Indra again, but she gives him the cold shoulder. She's just not having it. It's kind of like she's erased their friendship from her memory type thing, or from her mind, so to speak. So, yeah, Kane is just like, no, we're friends. This shouldn't be happening type thing. So there's that. So moving on to the most shocking moment of the episode, guys. I have to say for 407, it was the fact that Amori had lied about who the intruder was to her. It makes sense that she would do something like that. You just didn't think that she would go to that extent. But again, her motivations made sense. But it was still surprising for it to happen for sure, though. And for episode 408, my shocking moment had to be Abby destroying the radiation chamber. I mean, I guess it makes sense because she didn't want to risk Clarke's life, but in the end, by destroying the radiation chamber, you kind of sealed everybody's fate. You kind of, including Clarke's, you pretty much sentenced everybody to die if they didn't find it. Because for all they knew, they didn't know about the bunker being found or anything like that. So instead of risking Clarke's life to save everybody, she doomed everybody's life to save Clarke 10 more days, I guess you could say. So that was a little surprising there. So moving on to top 3 favorite moments. For the 2 episodes, I really only had 2 each, but they're really strong moments, I guess you could say. For 407, I really liked the scenes with Octavia and Ilion. Just the huge differences between the two of them, and then what was revealed to each other about the other, or with Octavia being a little standoffish, or Ilion trying to get her to open up and just try to understand who she is, and then making the observations of her own actions and reactions, saying, like, I don't think this is who you are. I think the old you is trying to come back, like those types of comments, and then to have it progress the way it did, to having them hooking up, and then her offering to take him home I really liked it. It definitely showed key moments for them. I'm still not over Octavia and Lincoln, though, but I'm definitely liking the potential between Octavia and Ilion for sure. Another favorite moment I had in 407 was the huge domestic vibe I got when Murphy greeted Clarke. I have no idea why, but every time Clarke and Murphy are on the same side with each other and they're when they're on the same side with each other and they're not at each other's throats, I'm rooting for it. Like, even just a friendship is good. So then when Clarke came in and noticed that Murphy was cooking, and she was surprised by this, and Murphy had her taste test his food, and she was surprised that it was good, and he makes all these little comments about it, I was really digging it. I was like, okay, I'm really liking where this is going here. I could see something happening maybe. And then you get Amori interrupting, which I'm like, all right, just let these two, because a lot has happened between Clarke and Murphy. I mean, season 1, they hated each other. For sure, he tried to kill her. And then season 2 was the fact that they were outcast with each other on opposite sides and everything. Or Murphy was off finding redemption with Jaha. And then season 3, we had them coming together when they were stuck in Polis together. It's just, they've been through a lot. And they've come a long way. So even to have them on a civil terms with each other, I'm like rooting for it. It's like, yay, finally. So that kitchen moment between them for sure. And then was something I really liked. And then when Clarke was trying to find the source of the broken glass, and then Murphy was just coming in, and it was like, we need to talk. And then like just the whole vibe, like the concern vibe, and then also her just immediately saying like, we're not alone, like someone's in here, and then him not questioning it, and he was just like him on alert now. I really liked it. Don't know why, but every time those two are on the same side with each other and trying to help each other out, I'm all for it, for sure. Then moving on to episode 408. A huge thing I liked about this episode was the little moments between Clarke and Rowan, especially when Rowan goes to check on Clarke, and they have this moment where they talk about what it means to be a leader, and how they have to make the choices that they necessarily don't like to make, but they have to make it in the greater good of the people. Rowan also mentions Lexa, and how Lexa saw that Clarke was born to be a leader, and he agrees with that statement, saying like, I see that too, you are meant to do this, you're meant to be a leader type thing. So it was really great to see these two have this moment together. And again, like I said with Clarke and Murphy, I'm totally rooting for Clarke and Rowan and that partnership between them. I'm still a Clarke and Bellamy fan when it comes to romance. Like, I'm still rooting for them there, though. But when it comes to Clarke and Rowan, they have potential, and if it went that way, for like a fling of some sort, I don't mind seeing it. I was like, why the hell not? But like, to have this alliance between Clarke and Rowan, just have that friendship, and that could really grow to be something more concrete. If that could coexist, as long as Bellamy and Clarke get together in the future of some sort, then I'm all for it. But it was really great to see these two leaders have that moment of clarity and recognition and solidarity, I guess you could say. So there's that. Another favorite of mine for the episode has to be the moment where Monty figured out the riddle to open the level 12 bunker door. I absolutely love that light bulb moment for him, and then when he realized that they needed to burn the medallion in order to have the key reveal itself. And it was a great moment for Monty. I always like him when he gets all these ideas on what could potentially be their next saving step, I guess you could say. It was just great for Monty to have that moment and to also be included on this mission, because Jaha had said that they didn't need fighters to go to Polis for this. They needed thinkers. They needed the ones that they could think their ways out of the situation, or help them think a solution up. So that was a great moment for Monty to have. So there's that. So moving on to peeved moments. I did have some peeves. So first one, though, for episode 407, I only have this one. And it was the fact that Bellamy couldn't save the father and son that he was trying to rescue from the Black Rain. I mean, Bellamy needed to have a good save on his side. I'm tired of him feeling like he's a huge letdown. He focuses so much on what he can't do and not enough on what he can do and what he's already done for his people. He just focuses on what he wasn't able to do for them. So it was sucky to see just him have that. It's like he didn't need to have more guilt on his shoulders, and yet this failure kind of added to that. So that was my only peeve for that episode. Now, for 408. Now, whole thing that really bugged me was that everyone on Becca's island was worrying over if they would be considered killers if they used a human test subject for testing out this treatment that could save everybody. I get their concerns, really, I do. But the fact that everyone in that room has crossed that line already. I mean, the grounders repeatedly have already crossed that line because they've been in wars, they've taken lives so many times, so they can't even consider the fact that, they're using this grounder as a test subject who can live or die to save them. They have no question about that. Clarke, she's known as the commander of death. There's no question whether or not she's a killer or not. Jackson and Abby, they took part in the culling. They let those 300 people die back in season 1 to conserve air. So they're already killers in that sense right there. Murphy and Miller, Murphy, Miller, and Raven, they're already part of the 100. They took part in the grounder army that attacked in episode 113. So they have already crossed that line. They have already killed to save themselves already. Everyone in that room had already killed to save themselves. So it really bugged me. Timer went off already. When they were like, doing this treatment make us killers or not? It's like, you're already there. Why are you wasting time trying to determine whether or not this makes you a murderer or not when you are already that being? You've already taken that course already previously. It's just move on, find a treatment, and figure out whether or not you're going to live to see the 11th day. I mean, that might seem a little heartless for me, though, but the whole time through that episode, every time that argument came up, I'm like, well, why are we concerned about this? Shouldn't you have been concerned about this previously when you were taking lives to stop people from going to the city lights? Go even further. Shouldn't you have considered this before you marched against Mount Weather? Go even further. Should you have considered this before you started attacking the grounders that were trying to kill you? I mean, it seems like a long overdue argument for them to have, yet not well enough. Not good timing, I guess you could say. That was my peeve, and you could tell it's a real peeve because I'm still blabbing about it. So let's move on from that. I didn't like the fact that Abby destroyed the radiation chamber. She pretty much condemned them all if they don't have, because again, like I mentioned before, they don't know that that Jahad found the second Dawn bunker. They don't know if it's viable or not even. So for all they know, everyone on the island just saw Abby condemn them all to death by prime fire. So it's like, what the hell did you do? I mean, you just pretty much wasted the whole episode. The whole episode was trying to find a way to see if this bone marrow treatment would work, and you need that chamber to do it. And yet, by destroying the chamber, you just pretty much halted that progress, and you pretty much just wiped out the whole purpose of this episode, essentially, right? That's where my head's at right now. And the last peeve was the fact that Jasper is having an influence on Bellamy. I mean, while I appreciate the message Jasper was saying about taking a moment to smell the roses, as it were, I really hope that it doesn't backfire and have Bellamy not caring about his role as leader. I don't want him becoming Jasper, who just doesn't care about anybody, just wants to deal with himself and just reminisce in the last 10 days he might have on the planet instead of trying to find a way to make it to day 11. So I really hope it doesn't backfire. I hope that Bellamy does take advantage of every moment that he has left, maybe telling a few people how he feels. Maybe, my hopes, but I really hope it doesn't backfire to him to just be like, I don't care, I'm just going to do whatever the hell I want, even though that is season 1 Bellamy. But it's like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see a regression, I guess you could say. Moving on to what moment will I remember most when I look back on the episode. 407, the black rain, for sure. 408, the experimental treatment. Absolutely, for sure. Now, random questions. I really only have questions from episode 8. And the first one was Clarke's decision to be the next test subject, did that have anything to do with Murphy and his threats against her? I mean, Clarke didn't offer to be the test subject before. They were already getting ready to make Amori the test subject test number 2. And the only reason Clarke was able to give herself the opportunity to be the test subject is because Abby couldn't do it. So I'm wondering if Clarke would have made the decision to be the test subject if Murphy hadn't said anything, or if it was his reaction to Amari being put in such a dangerous situation that could kill her is what drove Clarke to make the decision to put herself in that risky position instead. So there's that. Second question. Will Rowan blame Arcadia for the actions that Indra made in Polis? She killed a whole bunch of Asgada guards, and Monty made a point of telling Kane that Rowan's going to blame us for this. I'm wondering if Rowan will actually blame them or not. So there's that. And third question. Where does Clarke's decision leave her and Murphy? Would Clarke's decision to take Amori's place in the treatment leave her on good terms with Murphy, even though she technically didn't have to go into the radiation chamber? Or is he still on the fence about how to perceive Clarke? So there's that. So moving on to predictions, though, very quickly for the promo for 409, which is returning April 26th. So again, like I mentioned with the hiatus, there wasn't an episode today. So we got 2 more weeks before this episode comes back. But anyways, the promo shows that there are 6 days left until the death wave arrives. We also see that people are picking to either live in the bunker or to die outside by the radiation. They're making that choice, and it looks like Jasper thinks living in the bunker is no way to live. He seems to be the one that's front-running the rebels, I guess you could say. Because it's over 2 weeks until the episode airs, no synopsis has been released just yet. But any news and predictions, or concerns, I should say. But I will say this. It has been confirmed that the 100 was renewed for a season 5. So I'm so excited for this, but now it has me wondering how the hell are they going to get out of Prime Fire. The only way I can see it is that the bunker actually works, and season 5 is going to focus on them living underground in this bunker and trying to make it work while having Arcadians, grounders of all clans stuck inside a confined space. And they have to figure out a way to live amongst each other, as well as try to figure out a way to make underground living work. So I think that's my prediction if they stem off from Prime Fire for season 5. But for this next episode, for 409, the only thing I'm a little confused about is Jasper. Yes, he's on this whole kick about not caring what happens to him, but what really confuses me is the fact that Jasper is saying that living in a bunker is no way to live. But wasn't he all for that in season 2 when he had the option to live in Mount Weather? I mean, he didn't want to leave Mount Weather, and that was living underground in a mountain. So how does that differ from living underground in the Second Dawn bunker? I mean, what's the difference with that? So that's my only real concern about the episode. Otherwise, I'm excited to see how the news of the Second Dawn bunker will be, and what I really want to see what survived in it, if there's people underground, if there's still people alive and flourishing under there, if there's stuff that they can use that could keep them alive down there, if it is an actual viable situation. Because as you know, the season only has 13 episodes, and with this upcoming one being number 9, we're cutting it short for time, and 6 days left until the death wave for them. I mean, time is cutting very short for them, so I want to see what they uncover next for us, though. But that is about it, guys. What did you guys think about these 2 episodes? What did you guys like about? What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your own thoughts, theories, predictions about what you think is going to happen next. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below for all the tags for this show, as well as for the 2 episodes in particular. But I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all that good stuff all found in one place. So go check it out and follow me there if you want. It's a little behind on updating, but I'm going to get right to that as soon as I can. But follow me there if you like. Also, follow me on WordPress if you want, or to just check it out. Everything I do online is connected through WordPress, like Tumblr, fanfiction, this YouTube channel, my second YouTube channel, and my LiveJournal account. So you can follow me there and see what's going on, what I'm posting and stuff like that, what I'm into. it's a work in progress, so keep that in mind. But I'm hoping to improve on it a bit more. But yeah, that's about it, guys. So thank you so much for your patience. So sorry for delay. I hope you come back in a few weeks to see what I have to say about the next episode. But until then, guys, this is Mel. Wishing you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.